We bought the tools, gave everyone access, and expected magic. What we got instead was a wake-up call. That's what I want to share today, not a sales pitch, the lessons we learn about what it takes to go from using AI to seeing impact from AI. Let's start with some data that might surprise you. Here is where we are today in the United States. AI adoption went from about 4% in late 2023 to roughly 18% by the end of 2025. That's real growth. But 18% means more than 80% of businesses are still not using AI for any business function. We are very early. Look at the industry breakdown. Technology leads at 37%, professional services around 20, finance at 15, manufacturing at 10, food services just 8. But here's a number that should stay with you. Even the most advanced sector, technology and information, 6 out of 10 companies are not using AI. 6 out of 10 is a huge number in the sector, especially in the sector where AI was born. And here's another data point that put this in context. Anthropic, the company that builds Claude, one of the leading AI models, published their economic index this year. They found out that only 4% of all occupations see more than half of their tasks addressed by AI. 4%. Most people are using AI for one or two tasks, not for their core work. So, what does this mean for you and for us? It means two things. First, the window is wide open. If you are thinking we are behind, you are most likely not. Most companies haven't started seriously. This is not a train that left the station, it's a train that's still onboarding. Second, and this is more important, adoption is growing, but the impact is not growing at the same speed. Companies are buying tools and are signing licenses, but the actual business results, the revenue growth, the margin improvements, the competitive edge, those are lagging way behind. This raises the question, if everyone is adopting AI, why isn't everyone seeing results? That brings me to the most important slide of this talk.
Raúl, hi,
Yes.
thank you. Just wondering if you are about to share your screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was presenting already. Second. There you go. Please
Many
confirm.
thanks. Yes, thank you.
Okay, sorry. I'm going to do a recap of the previous one just for everyone's sake. Yeah, I was mentioning regarding the adoption. You can see the adoption percentages, and the rest, I believe, is very clear. Thank you so much for the recap. Okay. Um, Paying for AI is not the same as being transformed by it. Look at this comparison. In the left, what companies did, and on the right, what actually drives impacts. Most companies bought licenses, trained people on tools, added AI on top of existing processes, made sure who log in, celebrated 80% adoption. Great, but what really changed? Did any process work differently? Did any decision get made faster? At Applaudo, we measured 70% tool adoption. That sounds amazing. But when we look at how many processes had actually been redesigned, the number was 25%. AI was sitting on top of our work, not inside of it. That was our turning point. We stopped asking, are people using the tool? And start asking, did the process change? Think about this. When factories got electricity, the ones that replaced steam engines with electricity motors saw no improvement. Same layout, different power source. The ones that redesigned the factory around electricity, those were the winners. AI is exactly the same thing. The tool is not the transformation. The process change is. And if the process is bad, AI make it worse. So if the tools alone don't create impact, what does impact look like? Okay, Deloitte surveyed over 3,200 leaders this year. And they found something that I think captures the state of AI. When they look at how companies are using the AI, they found three groups. 37% use AI at the surface. Think email drafts, simple queries, helping write a document. Useful, yes, but nothing in business actually changed. The same process runs the same way, just with a little AI on top of it. 30% are redesigning the key processes. These companies are starting to rethink workflows. They're asking should this process work now that AI exists? They are getting real traction. And only about a third, 33%, are using AI to deeply transform new products, new services, new business model. This is where AI is not helping business. AI is the business advantage. Now, all three groups see some productivity gains. That's true. And that's why AI feels good even if you're not doing so much. Everyone saves a little time, but look at the revenue picture. 66% of organizations report productivity improvements from AI. Now, sounds great, but when you ask about actual revenue growth, only 20% says AI has grown their revenue, and 74% are still hoping it will. Let me say that again, 74% are still hoping. That's not impact, that's clearly just a witch. The gap between productivity and business results is the gap this entire presentation is about. And there are actually three distinct levels of impact. A simple way to think about these three levels is level one, efficiency, doing the same things faster and cheaper. Automate reports, cut processing time. Invoice processing goes from 3 days to 3 hours. This is where most AI value lives today. Is very valuable? Yes, but it's a starting line, not the finish line. Level two, effectiveness. Now you are doing things better. Better decisions because your analysis is deeper and faster. Better customer experience because you can personalize at a level that was not practical before. Lower risk because you can spot patterns and predict problems early. This is where AI starts to save time. 56% of companies with positive AI ROI report measurable financial improvements at this level. And level three, evolution, things that were not possible before. New products, new business models, real-time operations across dozens of variables. Only a third of companies are starting here, but this is where competitive moats are built. The companies at this level are creating offerings that simply did not exist 2 years ago. The journey from tools to impact is a journey from level one to level two and three. And this is something that is very exciting for us and is part of the rest of the talk. Okay, when people say AI, they think it's one thing, but it's actually not. We are picturing this AI in four different things, and each of one creates a different kind of value. Mode one is automation. It's doing the same thing, but without hands. AI takes over the repetitive work that it's human time. Expense reports, invoice matching, report generation, email sorting. Think about how much time your team spends on work that follows the same steps every single time. That mode is territory for AI. It's a quick win, and you don't need to rethink anything. Just find the mechanical work and hand it to AI. Mode 2 is amplify. This is AI as a companion. The person still makes the call, but now they have superpowers. Picture this. Your sales manager is about to walk into a client meeting. AI has already pulled the account history, the latest interactions, the open proposals, and a summary of what the client had been talking about online. That meeting prep used to take an hour, but now it takes 30 seconds. Or think about a financial analyst. Instead of building one scenario in a spreadsheet over 2 days, AI let them explore 20 scenarios in 20 minutes. The human is still in the loop, still deciding. but now they can see further and move faster. Every person performs as if they had a full team behind it. Mode three is transformation. This is where you stop doing the same thing faster and start doing things a fundamentally different way. You redesign customer onboarding so AI handles the qualification, the documents, and the initial analysis. What used to take 2 weeks now takes 2 days. You move quality control from random sampling to 100% inspection. You change product development so AI analyze all your user feedback before it even ships. This mode requires you to stop and ask, why does this process exist the way it does? And then rebuild it with AI as a core part. And mode four, most likely the most exciting one, things that were simply not possible before. Personalization at scale, where every customer gets a unique experience built in real time. Autonomous agents watching your operations around the clock, making a small adjustment without waiting for a human to notice, predicting problems before they even happen, or even creating new revenue lines, offering AI-powered services to your own customers that you could never have offered before. Every business has opportunity in all four modes. Must start with the number one, and that's smart. But the real competitive advantage live in modes three and four. And the maturity mode I'm about to show you is the bridge between where you start and where you need to go. So the big question regarding how do you know where your organization stands? This is what we call in Aplaudo the AI maturity compass. There are 5 levels, and this is not a poster for the wall. It's an operation tool that tells you where you are and where you need to go and what to do next. Level one is basically no AI, everything manual, high cost, structural disadvantage that grows every month. Level two is individual usage. This is where most companies are today. People are using Copilot on their own licenses, not sharing standards. There's no governance. Gains are real, but invisible at the team level. And there's risk that many leaders miss. Your company doesn't have the idea what data your employees are putting into those tools. Level three, team standards. There are shared practices, playbooks, prompt libraries. Teams agree on how to use AI and you track outcomes. Consistency improves, and one person learning becomes the whole team learning. Level four, workflow integration. AI is embedded in the process itself. Redesign workflows, cycle drop 30 to 50%, but AI amplifies whatever it touches, good or bad. So discipline comes first. And level five, intelligent orchestration. AI across planning, execution, validation, humans setting the strategy, and AI doing the execution. The structural margins improve, new business model become possible, and this is the North Star. The question for every person here is, where are you today? And where do you need to be in 12 months? Okay, how do you run the diagnostic having the maturity model as a compass? No, but something very critical, the maturity is not only a number, it's a profile across multiple dimensions. And that profile is different for every team, every department, every function. A company can be level three in one area and level zero in another, and that's very normal. But you have to see the full picture because without the full picture, you're investing blindly. 6 dimensions, and as I go through, please think on where you are in your organization and what should be your score. People and skills. Do your team know when and how to use AI? Not just can they log in, do they know the right moment to reach for AI and want to do it for themselves? Process. Have any core workflows been redesigned, or is AI just layered on top of the same process you had 2 years ago? If the steps and roles are the same, AI is not integrated, it's just a decoration on top. Governance. Do you have approved tools, data policies, security rules for what can and cannot go into AI? Or is everyone using whatever fits their budget? Technology. Is your data ready? Can your systems feed AI what AI needs? Or is your data in silos or in spreadsheets or in formats no AI can use? Culture and leadership. Does your leadership sponsor AI? Do they use it themselves? Or is this someone else's project? Measurement. Can you measure AI impact on your business metrics? Not how many people log in, something that shows up in the P&L. The gap between where you are in each dimension and where you need to be, that is your roadmap. Each gap tells you exactly what you need to do next. Now you might be wondering how we all know all of this. And that's a fair question to ask. Everything I share comes from doing this ourselves. 77% tool adoption at Aplaudo, but only 25% process integration. The gap forced us to rethink everything. We assessed over 40 teams across 5 dimensions, trained more than 200 engineers in AI workflows, build a maturity model from real data, deploy live projects and track results, launch a champion program that I'm going to explain you in the next slides, and create a structured governance. The central learning for us, tools without process change equals cosmetic change. That's why we can help or skip those mistakes. This was built from real projects, not from a textbooks. Okay, let me talk about you about people, because every framework and model means nothing if you forget the human side. I know what teams think when they hear AI transformation. They think, am I being replaced? McKinsey found that over 70% of skills employers seek are used in both work AI can automate and work it cannot. Skills don't disappear. How you apply them is what's changing. The World Economic Forum projects 170 million new roles by 2030 and 92 million displacement, a net gain of 78 million. But with massive reallocation, the companies that reskill fast will win. Now, let me take this personal because in my work, software development, we felt this in a very direct way. Think about a developer, someone with more than 15 plus years of experience. He went to college, got a degree in computer science, spent their whole career writing code, and not just writing code, enjoying writing code, loving it, is their craft. They work 80% or so of the working hours for the last 15 years. And now we come along and say, actually, you're not going to write code anymore. AI is going to write that code. Your job is changing. That's not easy to hear. It's not easy for anyone. Imagine someone telling to you that the thing you have spent your whole career doing and getting good at, the things that give you identity and pride, is about to be done by a machine. But here's what we found. A software developer does a lot more than just writing code. They understand the problem, they talk to users, they make decisions, they think about edge cases, they review what are built, they mentor other developers, they debug not just the code, but the thinking behind the code. Writing the actual lines has always been just one part of the job, but it felt like the whole job because it took 80% of the time. When AI takes over writing code, what's left is everything that was hard because you were too busy typing. The thinking, the quality, the collaboration, the judgment. The role doesn't shrink, it elevates. And this is the pattern not unique to developers. It applies to analysts, to lawyers, to accountants, to marketers. AI takes the mechanical part, and what's left is the part that only a human can do, the part that is actually more valuable. Another example, the calculator didn't kill math. It freed people for harder problems. AI does the same thing, but for knowledge work. Now, for things leaders need to do differently. Stop treating AI as an IT. Treat it as a people program. Invest in reskilling before tools. AI skills require practice, not just a license. Build safety for people to try new things without fear. Celebrate early adopters. The peer effect is the faster lever you have. The question for every leader here is your organization work so your people, your best people, do what only humans can do? Okay, as I mentioned, the Champions program. This is the Champions engine. So, how do you make the change happen? You need both top-down and bottom-up approaches. Neither works alone. Top-down means clear vision, a real answer to why are we doing this? Not because everyone else is, but a real answer. It means budget, governance, and executive sponsorship have the talk about AI publicly. AI has to be a board level conversation, not an IT experiment hidden in some department. And the planning gap is very real. 82% of the executives plan to adopt AI in the next 1 to 3 years. That sounds great, but only 12% of companies have workforce plans that go beyond a single year. That gap between ambition and planning is where all transformation go to die. So what bottom up means? Bottom up means a champions program. And this is where the magic happens. Find the early adopters in every team, not just technology. The person in finance, for example, who already use AI for better forecasts. The person in operations who figure out how to automate a painful monthly report. Find them, give them training, and give them time. Also, give them a stage to share publicly what they have learned. Because when a colleague says, let me show you how I save 3 hours a week with this, that's more powerful than any email from the CEO. That's peer-to-peer pull. Is something that top-down mandate cannot recreate. It's the fastest change lever you have. A champion is not a tech expert. A champion is anyone curious enough to try, disciplined enough to share, and brave enough to change how they work. And every department needs at least one. Okay, talking about the changes of how to do the organizational change, we are thinking about a specific plan on three specific phases. Phase one, preparation, weeks 1 through 4. Run the maturity model, define governance, which tools, what data policies, what security rules. Identify your champions. Get executive alignment, real alignment on the why and the top three priorities. And the deliverable for this stage, maturity baseline for each department and practice, and a priority roadmap. In the phase two, quick wins, months 2 and 3. Pick 2 or 3 high volume, low risk processes. Train teams on the new workflow, not just the tool. Measure time saved, errors cut, cost per process, and share wins. Tell stories. One good result does more than 10 training sessions. And the deliverable for this stage, measurable results, an internal case study. And phase three, transformation, months 4 through 12. Reassign core processes with AI as a native step. Scale what works. Connect AI to business KPIs, not activity dashboards. And the deliverable for this stage, an operating model shift, a measurable business impact. The full cycle is 12 months, and the first real win is in 8 weeks. The key is to start. Now, one note on metrics, because this is where most companies go wrong. There are three levels of metrics: activity metrics, licenses, logins, training hours. Tells you adoption, not impact. Efficiency metrics, hours saved, error rates, cost per process is better, and we are getting closer. Impact metrics, revenue per employee, customer satisfaction, new revenue from AI service is the place. If someone you has and your answer starts with, well, percent team using it, that's the answer. If your answer starts with cut onboarding by with that impact you want company want tips are
Hi,
past level
Raúl.
profile best and you're one is one champion team. Sila na are not a big strategy and achievement of for
Raúl.
success.
Hello, Raúl.
Yes, Michelle?
Sure, just wanted to double check with the audience if everyone was listening just 1 or 2 minutes ago, but apparently yes. Yes, Carlita? Yes, okay. It's working. Thank you very much.
Okay, we are going again. Do employees feel safe experimenting without fear of blame? Does leadership have a 90 days AI roadmap with name owners? Is your data clean enough to feed your AI tools? Can you name one thing your team stop doing once AI is integrated? And the scoring, just to give you an idea, 0 to 1, getting started, the recommendation is start with governance and assessment. 2 to 3, early progress. The recommendation, standardize and appoint champions. 4 to 5, build momentum, measure impact, and scale what works. And 6 to 7, you are an AI ready organization. You need to start exploring new business model. Wherever you are, there's a clear next strategy and start experimenting with AI today. Okay, and to make the next step even easier, we have put together quick AI readiness assessment you can take right now. I'm going to hand it to Michelle in order to explain this.
Thank you very much, Raúl, and thank you for your presentation. It was very insightful. And before we jump into the Q&A session, quick favor from all of you, as Raúl already mentioned, we have this QR code on your screen. By scanning it, you get access to a very quick AI readiness assessment. It takes less than 2 minutes, and it will help you understand where your organization is standing right now and where AI can create the most value. And we have a fun part. By completing it, you'll be entered into a raffle to win one of three $50 Amazon gift cards. So definitely worth those 2 minutes. And we will be contacting the winners after the session, and I'll give you a few seconds or minutes to scan it. So don't miss it. Thank you. All right, so Guess everyone's ready with the QR with the form, and we'll give you 5 minutes to ask questions to Raúl. So if anyone has any question, please feel free to raise your hand or drop them in the chat.
Sure. Thank you, Michelle. One thing before we go, three things to make you today to take in mind before you leave. Um, which workflow will you pilot this month? Important question. Who is your champion? At what metrics proves that AI is working? And of course, if you want to go deeper, Applaudo not only builds software, but we build AI roadmaps, pilots, and champion programs. And we like to talk about you about that. Yeah, let's go for questions. I'm not seeing my screen.
Um, just taking advantage of the time regarding the form that you already completed. Just I think it's very interesting that we are like right now having these interesting questions about how which is your current stage in the AI adoption. For example, is it like am I in the getting started stage? Am I perhaps in the early progress? And what does that mean? I mean, which is the criteria? What which is exactly what Raúl has been explaining. So I think it's very interesting to have this information to ourselves, right? To our main organizations, because it's important first to know where we are standing and then to have a clear and to define a clear roadmap of the actions that will lead us into where we would like to be.
Yeah, I believe that one of the most important things regarding this is that, and most likely the main message is that it's not only the tool that is important anymore. That when we think about AI, it's a very complex organizational change process. So there are many areas you need to take into consideration. Tools, data governance, processes, people, all the organizational change that needs to happen in parallel. Because as I mentioned, I believe the people and the process part is most likely the most important and the highlight of the presentation. And if you forget about that, the change is not going to have the real impact you are expecting. That's something that, yeah, we learn in Aplaudo, yeah, firsthand regarding tooling, access, and regarding how we evolve from just tracking usage to tracking results and seeing how AI was affecting the previous KPIs that we had in place. So yeah, the message regarding the questions is that you need to see several areas in order to understand how your AI transformation is looking.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I see a question from Michael.
Oh, okay, great.
What industry do you see being the strongest adopters or than tech? Um, Yeah, this is one of the things that I believe we are not more conscious enough is that tech is a huge bubble, and it's not only tech as we are as a software development company, but all kind of tech-oriented organizations. So, for example, I know that finance has a lot of tech companies, fintech, that are leading the way regarding AI adoption. So after tech, I will say the companies that are following and leading the adoption are the ones that mix their business model with some technology advantage. For example, mentioning um, companies that rely heavily on technology in order to save costs are the ones that are going to implement and are implementing AI first. There's a really good study for Anthropic. I'm going to share the link if I found it. But yeah, there's basically explaining where most companies are today, and it's very useful in order to have like a compass for the adoption.
Yes, Vanessa. Vanessa has a question. Vanessa, can you open your mic?
And it's for small businesses. What will be the first step for, to start this transformation, given the limited resources that, many small businesses have here in the United States, also in El Salvador, so they can integrate AI into their core business strategy?
Yeah, going back to the presentation, I believe the first two usage of AI are the most easy and direct to implement. AI in order to replace repetitive work. That's something for the small business is going to have a huge effect because small businesses tend to have fewer personnel. So if you start saving time, it's going to have a huge effect. And that's the first approach. And the second approach, I will say, is the second implementation, AI as a companion, meaning that AI usage in order to empower and in order to have that quote unquote team behind you. So I will say if you are a small business and you start saving time using AI on those two areas, you are going to have the free time in order to start rethinking on how to embed AI into your processes. And also, that is very important, the practice and the literacy you develop while implementing those two areas is going to help you to have a deeper and bigger understanding of the capabilities of AI, not just the theory, the capabilities in theory, but the actual capabilities. So that's going to bootstrap you in order to start entering level 3 and 4.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
great question, Vanessa. Yeah, thank you. I see another question from Ella Portillo. What is the biggest challenge organizations are facing in adopting AI? Um, I, I will say it's going to depend heavily on the organization, but I believe the most common problem is in order to understand, because as I mentioned several times, AI is huge and there are several areas you need to consider. So I believe there's the need to have a good plan is something that most organizations are being faced with. And the idea that AI is not something that only applies to IT, I believe is also very important in order to have a complete, more robust plan around implementation. And great question, Anna. Thank you for asking.
Thank you very much, Ella, and everyone for your questions. And to close, we will have Paola Peña Awes, who is the Minister Counsel of the Economic Session of the Ambassador of El Salvador in the United States, who will be giving the final remarks. So thank you very much, Paola, and welcome.
Thank you very much, Michelle and all the Aplaudo team. First, I'm speaking on behalf of the Ambassador Mayorga. She couldn't be here because due to a last-minute agenda change, but I want to have the opportunity to first say thank you to Aplaudo for all this effort that they are doing. We've been working together for the last 2 years and trying to get in touch with new companies and trying to bring solutions to the market. And we've seen the fast growth that they are experiencing. So it's amazing what they are doing in the country, and it's we are proud to have companies like Aplaudo. Then I want to say that the ambassador asked me to emphasize that you can count with the embassy and this partnership that we have with Aplaudo, and then to all the companies that are here in this webinar, you can text us and contact us to the embassy and the team of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in case you want to contact Aplaudo or anything you could need. I want to leverage this space to invite you to El Salvador to this Sub AI Summit that we are having in this month, 21st of April. You can come and you can see what we are doing there in El Salvador with AI. We are bringing AI not just to the private sector, but to the public sector in health and education, transportation, and all other areas. So for us, it's important to let you know what we are doing in the country and how fast we are moving in the technology forefront. And Aplaudo is an example of companies that are having succeed to bring AI to other companies in El Salvador and outside of El Salvador, with from small to big to large companies like message. I want to thank as well to the team at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Direction of Economic Relations. We work together in this, and then the Consulate General of El Salvador in El Doral, Miami, Florida. We are working together and happy to join us.
Thank you very much, Paola, and thank you, everyone. We truly appreciate your time, your engagement, and your interest. We hope the session has provided valuable insights on how to turn AI into real business impact. Stay tuned for our coming webinars and initiatives from Aplaudo. We'd love to continue sharing insights and building this journey with you. Have a great rest of the day, and we look forward to staying connected. Have a good one. Thank you.